On this episode of Captain's Tales, we're headed offshore 50 to 60 miles out into the Gulf of Mexico.
There he is. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good fish. It's a nice red grouper. Love that sound. 35, 40 pounder. See you later, buddy.
Throughout maritime history, there have been experts on the water who knew how to navigate and locate their bounty. These individuals held the secrets to where, when, and how. This still holds true today. Get ready for an angling experience filled with sea secrets, fantastic fishing, and great destinations. For on this show, it's only the captain and the camera. On this episode of Captain's Tales, we're easing out of the marina with Captain Vic Vazquez aboard the Fishy Business. We're headed offshore to Captain Vic's favorite honey holes, 50 to 60 miles out into the blue Gulf of Mexico.
I grew up here in Naples, and we used to go fishing at the Naples Pier. Every day that I wasn't in school, I was at Naples Pier. So when out of high school, a couple buddies talked me into getting my captain's license with them. I got my captain's license back in '85, I believe it was. And it just seemed like a natural progression to go ahead and start fishing, and it happened by chance more than anything. I met a guy that was looking for a captain on his charter boat, and that's how I started.
Our target on this trip is a very colorful species of grouper, the red grouper. Captain Vic's years of experience on the water allows him to locate where the many wrecks, rock piles, and numerous potholes are that hold this delectable bottom dweller and the techniques to land them.
Little spot tail. These make really good grouper bait. Everybody wants to take fish home to eat, and grouper is the fish that we catch around here, so we concentrate mainly on grouper and snapper. Oh, that's a nice one. Pulling like a big red grouper. Red groupers aren't very picky. They like live bait, they like cut bait, they like butterfly grunts and snappers. They'll eat just about anything. They like jigs tipped with shrimp or squid or anything like that. Real light leader, so we always get him right with the pick gaff. Nice red. Oh, he was barely hooked. Right on the corner there. Pretty fish. Should we invite him to dinner? 1 ounce head with a loop knot, little grub tail, and a dead pilchard. We use these types out here because the bucktails work very well, but the hairs come off of them pretty quick, and it's real simple just to change out these grubs. That's why I like using these grub tails. I love that sound. be a good one. There he comes. Better grab that. Using real light leader, so I don't want to just pull him up and break off. This one really was hooked good. He wanted it. Nice little grouper. About 18 or 19. I'm gonna let him go. Oh, he missed it. Maybe he comes back. There he is. There we go. Oh, he missed it again. Well, I missed him. He had it that time. He's back. It's a little better fish. I love using those jigs. If I had to only use one bait, it would be a jig. That's a good one. This is only a 20-pound test line, so out here in deep water, you don't really want to horse them too much. Just let the rod and reel do the work. You know, they have real small, real light membranes there, and you put too much pressure with braid, it creates a hole, and the more you pull, the bigger that hole gets, and then the hook just kind of works itself right out of there. That's with especially red grouper have that. Nice big one. This guy's got a lot of marks on him where he's been in the rocks. You see that right there? See that he's all scarred up right there? They get inside those holes. Sometimes the hole's only big enough for his head to get in there, but they get in there.
We'll be right back with more of Captain's Tales.
All right. The type of fishing we did today, we were grouper fishing for the most part, and we were using what we call a chicken rig with a dropper loop. And the reason we go to that style of fishing, it's very foolproof. It's very simple, and anybody that from novices to experts can do it. You basically let it down to the bottom, and you let the weight sit right on the bottom. That's why we use the weight on the bottom and the hook up on top. It basically puts the bait where the fish are. You don't have to lift the rod up. You don't have to crank 2 or 3 times, and you don't know where the bottom is. You let the weight go all the way down to the bottom. You let it sit on the bottom, and then the hook is positioned exactly where the fish are. So it's very easy to use. It's very, very effective. The rig we normally use out here is called a chicken rig. Basically, it's put a weight on the bottom. Just tie a overhand knot to secure the weight. Then about I don't know, about 3 or 4 foot from the weight, we do a dropper loop. And the way you do a dropper loop is you start with about a foot and a half of line. Just make a big turn like you're going to do an overhand knot, just like that. And you grab both of these and pull them out. So that's what you're left with. Then you're going to take this side and then you're going to twist it onto this one about 5 or 6 times. Okay, and then you take the remaining piece and you put it through the loop that you created. Grab it with your mouth and then pull it tight. You can wet it a little bit and then pull them nice and snug, and that's your dropper loop. And you can make it as long as you like. Some people, when they're fishing for muttons or some leader shy fish, they'll make the dropper to where it's way out here, but that's what we normally use about 90% of the time right here. Then what we do with the hook, you take and you pinch the loop, put it through the eye of the hook, and you can go one time through the loop. I like to do it twice. This makes a little stiffer rig. Then just pull it tight. And then if your hook ever gets dull or you need to replace it, you don't have to cut it and re-rig it. You can just loosen it, take it out, and put another hook on. Okay, ready to go. You can catch grouper all year round. The red grouper tend to hit in the warmer months, the gags, and we don't get a lot of true black, what people call carburetas or true black groupers, unless we go far offshore. And by far I mean 60 miles plus. We get some big true blacks out there, but mainly it's red grouper and gag grouper. The red groupers like the warm water, the gag groupers like the cool water, and that's what we normally catch out here is the red and the gags. So right now we're fishing in about 75-80 feet of water, so it's not too bad. You do get a lot of stretch with the mono. When we fish in 160, 180 feet of water, that's where the braid really comes into play. There's no stretch. With grouper, red grouper especially, their membrane is real soft, and the hook just wears a hole in their jaw, and if you're using braid, you'll pull it right out of there.
Captain Vic Vazquez knows when it's time to make a move, so we're off to slow troll a nearby wreck that can produce some exciting angling.
This is normally how we fish when we're fishing a tournament, kingfish tournament. We'll put a couple of baits out like that, and we'll just slow troll. Take one engine out of gear, bump it in and out of gear, and we just go over the wreck. You want to keep the boat moving just enough to keep the bait from coming back to the boat. You don't want to go too fast. There it is. I love that sound. He's taking off. Fighting like a big amberjack or a cobia. There he goes. happy, whatever it is. If I had to guess, I'd say a really, really big amberjack, maybe. Whatever it is, I think we're going to get to see him here in a minute. Or maybe not. He's definitely shaking his head. I can feel him shaking his head. I'm still saying amberjack. There's the double line. There's the leader. Woo, that's a big boy. We're just lipping. Hooks. See the hook? He's barely hooked in there. $35, Connor. Let him go. See you later, buddy. There he is. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good fish. Oh, that's a nice one there. I think this one's a little bigger than the last one. Once you get them up about, I don't know, 20, 30 feet, their bladder starts to fill up with air and they can't get back down. Makes it a little easier. Here he comes. This bottom here is very flat with just little tiny holes here and there. We call it honeycomb bottom. So you might hit a spot that might have one or two groupers in one hole, and that's it. So you catch one, you maybe catch two, and then you got to pick up and keep looking around. That's a better fish. You still got some fight in it. It's a nice red grouper. You can see where there's holes down there. You can see where he was down inside the hole where he gets all scarred up from the hole. Gotta be careful, these things are razor blades right there. It's a nice one. He'll join the other one in the box.
Closed captioning brought to you by Moonlighter Push Poles and Nets. Join us again next week for another episode of Captain's Tales. And try one more fishing spot online. Log on to www.captainstales.com.